Hello, welcome to a new drawing. You are going to learn how to draw an ice cream cone in this video. This particular type of ice cream though will be more of the firm ice cream with a regular cone that's squarish instead of the pointed sugar cone, okay? All right, so we're going to begin with a rectangle tool and you're going to click and drag. And with this shape, we'll check some of the appearance characteristics. So it should be filled with white paint, the stroke should be black, and the point size can either be a 1 or a 2, okay? All right, now we're going to place 2 bands around this rectangle. So I don't need to change anything on the left. I'm going to add another rectangle above it, but this one's going to be a little bit thinner. And I'm also going to zoom in and curve the edges. Now by curving it, I've now exposed some of the corners, so I want to make this a little bit wider on both sides. So making it wider on both sides. Okay. Now I want to repeat this shape, so I'm going to copy it. That's Command C. To paste it, I need to repeat Command, but this time I'm going to press V as in Victor and bring this one down here. All right, and that is a good beginning. Now, something new we haven't done yet is curve a lot of shapes. So you go to the selection tool and you're going to click above these shapes and drag down in a diagonal. You're trying to collect all of them. And we're going to go to Object and then Group. We want to group all of these so that we can move them and resize them as we see fit. And I'm going to do something else new. I'm going to go to Effect, and I want you to go to Warp. In the Warp section, I'd like you to go to Arch, or Arch. And here's where you can, if I move this to the side, you can see that you can curve your shape either in a downward curve, that would be to the left, the negative numbers, or an upward curve, that would be to the right. So that's to the right, positive, to the left, negative. So it just changes the angle. We want to go to about, I'd say about 25% is good. All right, and then I press OK. And I want to remove the selection, all these blue lines. So I go to Command Shift A to get rid of those. All right, that's the beginning of the ice cream cone. Now I need to make the bottom portion. I go back to my rectangle. This time though, I'm going to taper it. And you may remember this from when we did our cupcake. You are going to, let's move this in a little bit. Let's press letter E on the keyboard. Now, when I do that, you should have this little pop-up. If this pop-up doesn't appear, it could be that the shape wasn't selected. So if you don't see the blue outlines around your shape and you press E, like let me just give you an example. If I remove this selection and I just press E right now, nothing happens. I get this arrow and this slash mark. So in order for the pop-up to occur, I have to go to the black arrow, select a shape, then press E and the pop-up shows. All right, we want the perspective distort. I'm going to bring the bottom of this shape in just a little bit. Okay, and I'm going to change the placement. I want this to sit behind the shapes that I've already drawn. So go to Arrange, Send to Back. Okay, now that is behind the top shape, and I also want to curve it the same way I did the other. So it is selected, but let me just make sure. Yes, it's selected, and right now I want to go to Effect, Warp, Arch. And I haven't changed the percent, so that's good. It's still minus 25%, which is perfect. And I need to go to Arrange, Send to Back so that it's behind the shapes that I did before. All right, there's the beginning of my cone. I do want to add some indicator lines, just a little bit of texture to the cone. That is what the line segment tool will do. It is not really meant to create a new shape. It's really to add accents if you need a straight line, like if you're doing something in perspective. So we're going to start off with drawing one line, not touching either side of the cone, and I'm going to copy it. So we're going to hold Command C, return to Command, but then press V as in Victor. And it gives me a new line. I'm going to pull this down. Wow. I'm going to make it about, I don't want too many lines. I'm going to make it about that far apart and extend it. And I'll need, it looks like about maybe 2 or 3 more. And I don't have to I could copy this one, Command C, Command V, and then just move this one down. That pink line tells me that I'm at the same angle and close to the same distance, which is what we want. Extending this. Going to go to the black arrow and extend this one down a little bit more. All right, I'm going to copy 2 more. Command C, Command V. That length looks correct. And I'll do 1 more, Command V. And this time it's too long, right? So I need to make it shorter. All right, that works. Now, what I'm going to do is curve this the same way that I've curved everything else. But I need to group them first. So I click on the black arrow, click on the first line, and then with my left hand, I hold Shift and I press on each of the lines to highlight them, okay? Now we go to Object, Group. Now it's one group, and I want to curve it. So I go to Effect, Warp, and Art. Now some of these seem to be a little bit more curved than others, but it's only for the indication of texture. So I'm going to just move these up a little bit. I'll hit OK. Move these up. And I'm going to, this time I'm going to copy and paste, but I'm going to flip it. So I go to Command C, Command V, and on the right hand side, remember we have the option to flip horizontally or flip vertically. I'm going to flip horizontally and then bring these shapes down. All right. That looks to be, there we go. That looks pretty symmetrical. And so now I have a texture. I don't want to change the color of the diamonds. I just wanted a little bit of a look to the cone. Now we're ready for the ice cream. Let's go back to our rectangle tool. We'll press and hold until we get to the ellipse. Now you can have a perfectly round circle, oval shape, or you could free draw your entire circle. So that is your personal style. It's up to you. If I want to draw it by hand, I press letter N as in Nancy, and I could draw the circle, because in real life, you know, a cone is not going to be perfectly round. All right, so that's one way you could do it. I'm going to return to the ellipse though. So I'll put the circle in and I'm going to fill it with white paint for now. And I'm going to send it to the back so that it's behind the cone. So arrange, send to back. And that looks to be centered for the most part. Move it over a little bit. All right. Now I'm going to add the texture of the scoop of the ice cream. And to do that, I'm just going to make a series of little circles. And they don't all have to be the same size. You will want to have them, overlapping. And you can tilt them if you like. So hover around the corner and you can tilt it when the curved arrow appears. Again, this does not have to be symmetrical. Some of these can be wider, some of these can be skinnier. I keep hitting Command V to paste, and I could do that, but I'm actually supposed to be drawing each one because I want them to have some variety. If at some point you'd like to copy yours and paste it, you can. Go to the black arrow, click on one of the circles, hit Command C, and then Command V. And then you can just paste it and rotate it as you see fit. All right, so I have a variety of ovals and circles at the bottom of the ice cream. And I could leave it like that, but I actually don't like seeing the lines in between all of these. So I'm going to group them and create a new outline. To do that, just tilt this one. I'm going to hold my Shift key with my left hand and touch each of the ovals. And then go to the Pathfinder and click to unite them. And now they kind of have their own texture. All right. So there is the ice cream scoop part. I'm going to connect that to the circle. So I'm holding Shift with my left hand, clicking the outside circle, and then I go to Object, Group, because I want them to be together. All right. I actually undid that. I hit Command Z because I noticed when I grouped it that this circle is lower than the ice cream. So I'm going to bring this down and then group it. Touching the circle, touching the texture part. Now I'm going to Object, Group. Okay, now I can group it together and move the ice cream where I need to. Okay, so let's say you have multiple flavors and you want to move your ice cream cone down. We need to collect it all now. So go to your black arrow, click and drag over the entire drawing, and you can make it smaller and just kind of move it to where you want on the page. And if you want a second scoop, you can touch the top shape. Because we grouped it, we can duplicate it all together. So I'm going to touch Command C, Command V as in Victor. Bring this one on top. And I don't want to have it perfectly identical above and below. So I'm going to flip it horizontally, maybe even tilt it a little so it's not super perfect. All right, and now it's ready for color. It's also ready for you to add your own embellishments. So whatever the theme of your ice cream dessert is, if it's a dinosaur ice cream or if it has out of space, maybe an astronaut or anything like that, you can now go to the pencil tool, draw your shapes, embellish it, make it unique, okay? Here's my example of a finished ice cream with color. And notice that with the lines, I made the lines tan because I still wanted to keep that texture. And then I made the outline for the ice cream brown. It's up to you how you would like to outline your shapes, or you can choose to have no outline. To have no outline, you can select your entire page or your entire dessert, choose stroke and go to no outline. And this is what that would look like. Okay, so it's up to you. I'll hit Command Z so I can return it to what it was. All right, I look forward to seeing your final project. Good luck.